Hi, my name's Em and welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to talk to you about how to make more money through market research by optimising the way that you apply to projects. So when I first made this channel, I started thinking about the kind of videos that would have been most helpful to me when I first started market research, and I realised that knowing how to fill in the application form in a way that would make it more likely that I'd be selected and less likely that I would be screened out would have saved me a lot of time and also helped me increase my earnings, especially when I first started doing market research. This video might be most helpful to those of you who are just starting out on your market research journey, but I'm hoping that it will also help those of you who are currently partaking in it to just increase your earnings a bit further and save yourself a lot of time. So I'm going to be giving you 5 tips for filling in the application form and going through an application form with you as well, just so hopefully it can increase your confidence in filling one in. I'm also hoping this will save you from falling at the first hurdle with your new side hustle, which is getting screened out of projects before you've even started. This follows on from my last video where I spoke about where you can find market research projects and also how you can choose one that appeals to you most. So I recommend you check it out first before you start this one. Like with that video, at the end of this one, I'm going to talk about a few sites that I found really trustworthy and great companies to work for. And so if you watch on to the end, you'll have a few more to add to your list so you can get started. If you're looking to make easy money from home and want some side hustle tips and advice, then please subscribe to my channel. I'm new to YouTube and I'm just trying to grow my channel so that it reaches the people that really need it. And so I'd appreciate all your support. I'd also like to set you a challenge today, which is that if you're watching this video, then get online, get looking for a market research project and apply to just one. I'd be really interested to hear what you apply to and if you have any luck in getting selected, so please put it in the comments below so that everybody else can see it too. So let's get started with my 5 tips. These are: number 1, use multiple sites. Number 2, look out for clues. Number 3, exude positivity. Number 4, be creative. And number 5, remember your answers. And we'll get to all of these in due course, but first of all, let's look at an application form. So I've gone on to researchopinions.co.uk because I know they always have lots of new studies and refresh them regularly. And if I go on to current projects, I can see all of the latest projects, how much money I can make on them, what sorts of research they are, etc. So for the purpose of this video, I'm going to pick a project that I might apply to. This one about custard sounds good. People aged 25 to 64 who purchase and consume ready-to-eat custard. I'm not really sure if I like custard enough to talk about it for an hour and a half, but I could do a lot worse for £60, so I'm going to start applying. I'll quickly show you the demographic bit. It's pretty straightforward. Ask for things like name, age and occupation. I'll let you fill these in on your own. The very first important question we get to is this one. When was the last time you took part in market research and what was the topic of the research? It's followed by the slightly threatening sounding statement, which is: please note we do keep a record and any applications from those who have recently taken part in research will be disregarded. This leads me to my first piece of advice, which is use multiple sites. Market research companies do tend to be a bit funny about how much research you participate in a given period of time, and so they claim often to check your records to make sure you haven't done research with them in the last 6 months. Now, from my experience, this isn't really the case. I have done several pieces of research for the same company in a 6-month period, and they haven't seemed to mind that. However, to get around this potential problem, I'd recommend you just apply to research on lots of different sites instead of just one, and then simply tell them that the last time you participated in research was over a year ago, if at all. The good thing is that by applying to more sites, you are automatically maximising your chance of being selected for research anyway. So you've completed the demographic questions, and the next thing is the specific screening questions. You'll realise that these have started because they'll start asking you about particular preferences in food habits or shopping habits. The thing to remember here is the market research companies are looking for a very particular type of person for their research. So they're not going to invite you to talk about Nando's in a focus group if you don't even eat chicken. They're not going to invite you to a study about Sainsbury's if you say you only ever shop in Tesco. So this is about making sure that you don't get screened out in these screening questions. This is where my second piece of advice comes in, which is look out for clues. So if we have a look on our custard study, we can see the first question is about where you do your main grocery shop. So far, there are no clues about this, so it's probably best to be honest. They might well be looking for a range of people who shop in different stores. However, next we reach a question about whether you fall into the following categories. There's a clue here. We already know this survey is going to be about custard. So from what I know, custard contains milk, so it seems unlikely the research is going to be looking for those who are cutting out milk or dairy products or have an allergy. So unless the survey suggests otherwise, the answer on a question like this, where it asks you about things that might lower your likelihood to use the product in question, tends to be none of the above. And we can see another clue as we scroll down. The questions become more and more specific about custard, and then it starts talking about brands. Except how many specific brands does it refer to? I can only see one, and that's Ambrosia. If I continue to scroll through the questions, it starts asking more about Ambrosia custards, such as what formats you tend to buy. This is probably common sense. In case you haven't noticed by now, the clue is the research is probably going to be about Ambrosia. And so to not be screened out, you definitely want to be saying that you purchased Ambrosia. Now, if this isn't something you purchase or really use, you have a choice here. You either be honest and probably be screened out of the survey and out of the research, or you can tell a slightly different story. If you don't want to be dishonest, there are plenty of research projects out there that will suit you better, where you can be completely truthful and genuine about your experiences. Let's look at the next question. The research at this point is really assuming you purchased Ambrosia custard and is asking you about which format you prefer. There are no clues here, you can only pick one, so I'd say go for whichever one you want. This question is probably there to ensure the researchers selected a group of people who buy a broad range of products. However, the next question allows you to pick as many options as you want, leading me to my third tip: be positive. If the survey is talking about occasional use and they give lots of similar options, I'd normally choose most of these. Make out you regularly buy custard and are a loyal Ambrosia customer. Again, with the question about doing top-up shops, be positive. You might shop mostly in Sainsbury's, but if the survey is looking for people who shop in Tesco, the fact that you shop in Sainsbury's as a top-up will likely be enough information for them to still select you. So make the most of the ability to select several options and exude positivity in your selections. You want to be giving companies no reason to screen you out. Another point at which I'd suggest you exude positivity is when they ask when you're available. It's completely common sense, but you want to make it as easy as possible for them to book you into research, so give as many possible time slots as you can. Now that's pretty much the end of the questionnaire, and that's it. I like it when they're this simple. They're asking very quick and easy questions and you can fill it in a matter of minutes. However, sometimes they are asking for a bit more from you. They want to hear that you're able to describe your opinions and experiences in a very articulate way, where you can add some detail and really engage and be interested in your answer. This leads me to my fourth tip: be creative, and I'll show you a quick example of this. So here's a screening questionnaire for an online community about greetings cards, and the very last question asks you this: what's the best gift you've ever received? What was it and who gave it to you? Please give detail. This answer is important as to whether you'll be chosen for the research. My only advice here, but this is your one opportunity to show that you're a person who can form an interesting, detailed response to a question. Be creative. Talk about something you care about or are really passionate about. Go into enough detail that the research team gets to know a little bit about you and knows they want to select you over somebody else for the same piece of research. I'd normally put a paragraph in this box, and this seems to generally be enough as long as it sounds genuine. Of course, if you don't have anything to put in this box, I would say feel free to elaborate on your answer slightly and make it slightly more imaginative. But, and this is a big but, you need to remember your answers, which is my fifth tip. So there's no use filling in this survey and being the exact kind of person the research team want to take on for their research, and then you get a quick and easy call to confirm your answers and you can't remember what on earth you put. If you end up telling them different answers to what you put in the application form, then they're not going to take you on for research. And I think it's within their right to do so, seeing as they can see that you've basically lied in your application form. After all, they want to hear from somebody who's honest, who's really experienced the subject they're going to be talking about, so you can give the best information possible and a real customer experience. My advice here would be, when you fill in the application form, take a picture of anything you think you'll forget and keep them somewhere that you can easily access them on your phone, so that if you do get that short phone call to confirm your answers, you can tell them you're exactly who you said you were when you applied. And hopefully then they'll take you on for research, and that is it. Following the phone call, you should probably get an email over the next couple of days, which will give you all the information you need for the research. So that might be Zoom link, location addresses, maybe dates and times, and also information about any pre-tasks you might need to do, including products that you might be receiving before the research. I think that's everything you need now to get started and give yourself the best possible chance of being selected for market research. As I keep saying, apply to as many studies as you can, because that will increase your chances of being selected. I want to give you the chance to kind of build a list of companies that are really great to work for, and so I'm going to give you two more now. The first is called focusforpeople.com and the second is called vocalviews.com. I've done several studies for Focus for People. They have been really interesting studies. One of them involved sending a product to my home, which was really exciting for me to try. They kept in touch throughout the process. And as for the other companies I've mentioned before, they really paid on time. I felt like they were a great company to work for. Vocal Views, I've only done one piece of research for so far, but I really enjoyed it and it helped me to earn extra money because it had a really good pre-task, which I always enjoy. Both of these sites have project pages which they're constantly updating with new studies, so I do recommend you go on and have a look. I'm really keen to hear from any of you who've taken on my challenge to apply to a piece of research today, so please put below comments about who you've applied to, what the research study is for, and obviously let me know if you get selected because that will be very exciting. If you've enjoyed this video, please subscribe. I'll be coming up with videos every week on how to make yourself some extra money. In my next video, I'm going to be talking about mystery shopping, which is one of my other favourite side hustles, and I'll be talking about my favourite app of the moment, which is Roamla. Please stay tuned for more new content, and I look forward to seeing you on my next video.